Imagine a city that doesn't spread outward, but upward. A single mirrored wall slicing through the desert, taller than skyscrapers, longer than some countries. This is the Line, the crown jewel of Saudi Arabia's $8 trillion Neom project. A city designed to completely rewrite how humans live, move, and build on Earth. No cars, no roads, no pollution. Just two parallel skyscrapers stretching over 100 miles across the sand, powered entirely by renewable energy, filled with parks, schools, and entire neighborhoods stacked inside a glass canyon. Sounds crazy, right? Well, here's the plot twist. It's actually happening. In 2025, the world's most ambitious construction site is alive and buzzing. Excavators carving deep into the desert, foundations forming, fleets of cranes tracing the path of what could be the first true city of the future. But the closer you look, the more complicated it gets, because the Line isn't exactly what it used to be. Scaled down, reworked, refocused. The vision's still alive, just not untouched. So, today we're diving into what's really happening behind those mirrored walls, from the sky-high dreams to the 2025 reality check. This is Saudi Arabia's The Line, part construction site, part experiment, and part glimpse into the future. Before we get into the 2025 updates, let's rewind for a second. When it was first announced back in 2021, you might remember it lighting up social media. The concept photos, the idea itself, sounded less like a city and more like science fiction. An over 100-mile-long glass corridor cutting through the Saudi desert. A third of a mile tall, designed to house 10 million people inside a structure narrower than a neighborhood street. The goal? To reinvent city living from scratch with clean energy, ultra-efficient vertical design, and an artificial climate system that makes the desert feel like spring. And the Line is just one piece of a much bigger vision, Neom, an $8 trillion mega project turning northwest Saudi Arabia into the world's most futuristic region. I'm talking floating ports, robotic resorts, ski slopes in the desert, all part of a national bet to shift from oil to innovation. But while some called it revolutionary, others called it dystopian. Because depending on who you ask, the Line is either the blueprint for humanity's future or a billion-dollar social experiment wrapped in mirrors. Still, one thing's undeniable. It captured the world's imagination. And for a while, that hype alone was enough to keep the dream alive. But hype doesn't pour concrete. For a time, the Line looked like it might never leave the concept stage. Too bold, too expensive, too futuristic for its own good. But here's the thing. As of 2025, that dream is officially under construction. And not just a few excavators moving sand for show. We're talking a full-blown industrial operation carving through the desert. Recent drone footage shows miles of trenches already taking shape, foundations poured, worker camps rising. The desert that once looked endless and untouched now looks like a scene out of Blade Runner meets Minecraft. Massive fleets of trucks snake along the corridor, moving mountains of rock and sand to shape what's being called Phase 1. The first real glimpse of how the city of the future might actually look. But as fast as things move on site, what's happening behind the scenes might be even more important. Neom's leadership has shifted. Budgets reevaluated. The scope, once stretching across the horizon, dramatically narrowed down. The world's most ambitious project is still alive, just a little smaller, a little slower, and a lot more strategic. And that's where things get interesting, because even scaled down, the Line is still unlike anything humanity has ever tried to build. But what exactly happened? And why did they have to cut back the scale? By 2024, as budgets formed and plans were finalized, cracks started showing. The Line, once promised to stretch over 100 miles, was being quietly trimmed down piece by piece. The reason? Simple: money and math. The full version ballooned to a staggering $8.8 trillion. More than 8 times Saudi Arabia's entire GDP. Even with deep pockets, that number just didn't add up. And reality, unlike render videos, doesn't run on wishful thinking. So, the project was reworked. The new plan? Start small, really small. Instead of over 100 miles, construction would focus on the first 1.5 miles. Insiders now call it the mini Line. Still colossal by any normal standard, But the scaling down came with drama. Executives replaced, budgets rewritten, timelines renegotiated. A massive reset for what was supposed to be the city of the future. And yet, construction never stopped. So, how's it actually going? Satellite and drone images from early 2025 show construction in full swing. But instead of building the entire line at once, engineers are focusing on key modules, prototypes for the rest of the project. Each module about 2,600 feet long, 1,600 feet tall. That's taller than 5 statues of Liberty stacked on top of each other. Excavation runs deep, valleys scooped out of the sand, revealing raw foundations ready for glass, steel, and vertical ecosystems. From above, it looks surreal, a grid of perfect lines carved into endless desert, like someone drew a city in the middle of nowhere and decided to actually build it. Module 45, buzzing with piling machines, driving thousands of concrete columns into the ground, the invisible skeleton that will anchor the line for centuries. Module 46, stealing the spotlight. This is where the hidden marina slices through the structure. A futuristic harbor carved into the base, and above it, the Neom Stadium, planned to host World Cup matches over 1,100 feet above the desert floor. It sounds insane, because it kind of is. Just this phase alone needs over 16,000 piles. For comparison, the Burj Khalifa needed only 192. And that's just for a fraction of the full design. Around the site, life is forming. Worker cities, prefab dorms, dust-covered trucks, neon-lit mess halls glowing through the heat haze. At night, the hum never stops. It just softens into a low pulse rolling across the dunes. Every shovel, crane, and sensor moves with one mission: to prove that the impossible can, in fact, be engineered. Phase 1 isn't the full line, not even close. But if Neom can pull off even this first segment, it'll prove the dream isn't dead. It's just taking shape one module at a time. The truth is, the line was never meant to rise overnight, even before the headlines about delays and downscaling. Saudi Arabia's long game was clear. This was always a multi-decade experiment, evolving piece by piece, module by module. So while the original version might be a distant dream, Neom's broader vision is still alive and expanding. Beyond the line, other regions are forming. Oxagon, a floating port city on the Red Sea, the world's largest industrial hub powered by clean energy. Trojena, a mountain resort promising year-round skiing in the desert, set to host the 2029 Asian Winter Games. Sindala, a luxury island getaway, opened in 2024, already welcoming tourists to Neom's futuristic coastlines. A network of mega projects, each testing how far technology and ambition can bend the limits of reality. Saudi Arabia isn't slowing down, it's shifting strategy. Instead of chasing one massive city, Neom is spreading its bets. Smaller, high-impact hubs to prove the concept works before scaling further. Financially, a bold move. That $8.8 trillion estimate was more than 8 times the country's GDP. No matter how deep the pockets, that's hard to ignore. So now the focus is on sustainability, not just environmental but economic. And yet the ambition remains. The line may be trimmed down 100 miles to just a few, but even reduced, it's still rewriting the rules of city design. If Neom succeeds, even partially, it could redefine what urban life means for the next century. A place where the desert becomes vertical, where cities grow upward instead of outward, where technology doesn't just support life, it curates it. The future of Neom isn't guaranteed, but maybe, in a world running out of space, it's exactly the kind of impossible dream we need. In the end, the line isn't just a city, it's a statement, a monument to human ambition, carved into the heart of the desert. But here's the catch: innovation always comes with a cost. For every mirrored wall and futuristic promise, there are billions of dollars, thousands of workers, and an entire generation betting that the dream will actually work. Maybe the line will stand as a blueprint for the cities of tomorrow. Or maybe one day, the desert will reclaim it. Who knows? So, what do you think? Will the line become the world's first true city of the future, or the most expensive mirage ever built? Let us know your thoughts down below. And if you love exploring the world's most ambitious mega projects, like, subscribe, and stay tuned.